Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of what? You know what it is, the iConis podcast. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Barry 3D, and if you want to find where I'm going to be, check out the link below, or just go to barry3d.com, and it's Barry, not Barry, so, Barry, 3d.com. Find where I'm going to be. I'm going to be all over. I'm starting to do more live shows, so come out and check it out. We're going to be at more events, so we're going to keep you posted on that. And we have our community tab on our YouTube page. Woo! So we're going to start using that and posting there and doing some polls. So please interact, and always like, subscribe, and share.
Let's go.
Now, like usual, never do this show alone. No. It's not a solo mission. Not Han Solo.
I'm about to say
Han Solo here. I'm here with man, myth, legend, father, innovator, master of sound, the one and only, my cousin, co-host.
Oh, that's my fault. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. I go by the name of DJ Rod C. Welcome to another episode of the place they call iConis. Because the icon is... You know what? I can't tell you. We got a little housekeeping to do. Barry, what do we got to do? 3D? What do we got to do?
This is what we got to do. First and foremost, we got to turn around and always give thanks and people that support the show. So the people that sponsor the show is Wild Comics out in Kitchener. Go and tell our boy Wes we said hi. Now, if you're down out in Montreal, hit the South Shore, go to Check Swings, look for Trevor and the guys, tell them we said hi. Thank you very much. Keep an eye out also for A Touch of Gray Matter, which is myself, Dave Sokolowski, and Zulf Ali. We're doing shows all over. Come out and say hi. We do a lot of fundraisers, so we give back the comedy. We give comedy, you give something back to help the community, be it if it's a food bank or so forth like that. And Dave does a lot of work with that, with another group he's a part of, the Widow's Son. So please keep an eye out for that. He helps a lot year-round, nonstop. Woo! And then on top of that, we put this podcast out on Podbean. So if you want to find us, look for iconis.podbean.com. Check out the links. And if you're looking to start a podcast of your own, I say give that a place to start. It's really, for what you pay and what you get, more than worth it. We're on that platform, and you'll see the advantage of being on there. They do all the heavy lifting for you. On that note, the man that makes us look so pretty, the one that turns around and has us going, from just a plain screen to something vibrant to match our personalities. And if you need something like that too, then you need to reach out to the one and only
J Bird Digital Art.
J Bird Digital Arts. You can see his contacts at the end of our videos. You hear us talking about him all the time. We got links down below. We've got videos. We really appreciate Jay so much. And if you have a project you want to do, be it if it's virtually online or live, banners, posters, something for your business, even if it's a pizzeria, he does so much, from comedians to music to wrestling to businesses. Give him a shout. And if you say that you heard about him, where? Here on the iConis podcast, he'll give you a discount.
Oh my gosh. Discount.
Hallelujah.
Go get it quick.
That's right. Save those money, save those ducats, because gas is going up. You got to save somewhere, and Jay's helping with that. Woo! Had to get my Ric Flair in there. Woo! Profiling. Oh, geez, I'm not gonna. Okay, all right. Shout out to the man. He knows of the party. On that note, today on the iConis podcast, we are talking about Cybersix.
Cyber 4?
No.
Cyber 2?
No.
Cyber 6? What?
What? Cybersix. Because 2 and 4 didn't make it. Cybersix. Now, some of you might know about Cybersix, and maybe a lot of you don't know who Cybersix is. This is why you tune into the show to kind of go down memory lane, relive these moments, or learn about them, look them up, and say, hey, you guys are on to something. Who is Cybersix? Let's put this in a nutshell. Cybersix she didn't know much about her past, and it's a she. So she didn't know much about her past, but the show was ahead of its time for a lot of reasons, and we'll explain that in the show. she's a hero trying to find her past. And unique circumstances, unique as background and setting, for us here, and had a comic book, but it wasn't in English, but it got a TV show. And it was a project that was worked with Japan and Canada to do the animation. Ran for 1 season, 13 episodes. It started off first on Teletoon here in Canada. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. And if you saw my video our video we put up there about, Bajans in a cold land, thank you very much. So it started off with Teletoon here in Canada, and then it got to the States through, Fox Kids. Now, they had to do some things to change certain things to make it cool. So I only got introduced to this property when I was watching the cartoon, and I'm like, it's got to be more to it. And I'm glad I looked it up, and I was like, oh, there's more to it. Okay. And the books have the same name. So you can find the books in French. You can find the books in Argentinian, right? You can find, in that the background. In English, you don't get the full run. I think there's a couple of issues in English, and they're hard to come by. So if you have them, congrats. If you want to find where they got to get, even I don't know.
Find them, yeah.
You got to go to your comic book stores and ask them to look up to see if they can find back issues of Cybersix. They'll probably have to import those for you. But once again, WoW Comics or check swings.
Hard facts. But it'll be worth it, and we'll tell you why.
Absolutely. So I know this TV show, and I'm gonna go. I mean, we're gonna get like different stories back and forth here. So this TV show came out, I believe, in 1999.
The show came out in 1999, October 23rd, 1999.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, so October, yeah. So original release. Okay, so it started like September to October. Okay, so 1999. As I said, ran in Teletoon Canada, Kid Station. Which was over in Japan, because of course it was the two of us, and that's the first time you actually got, not the first time, but one of the times you get Canada and Japan working together to make an anime. Now, if you look at the style takes the original feel of the comic book, art wise. So it's not fully like your typical anime looking, but the scenes and the fluidity of it has it. It's not choppy. It's very smooth. They really did it well, and it had a lot of good people behind it. So the show was created along with the book. So the book, the show, they're created by two people. So it was created by Carlos Meglia. I'm close on that one.
Yeah, Meglia.
So thank you very much. Right. So he's the artist. Now, this is why he stands. Now, unfortunately, he passed away in 2008. But I like his art style. If you can find any of his books, he's actually worked on some DC properties. So he worked on a couple of issues of Superman. This is like pre-52, way back. And the art, you could tell his art style was different. He brought in the Black Hawks. He was drawing it where Superman took his fortress of solitude away from the Arctic, and he moved it down into the jungle. He did a miniseries where it was Tarzan and Superman teaming up. And it was a miniseries that he did. Once again for DC. He did a hardcover, which I own, and I love the art in it. It's called Superman Lost City. And very, so a little bit pricey, but the art and the quality of it, beautiful. Where Superman is with Lois, they go to a cafe driving on Route 66. They walk in and end up in another dimension. And then he runs into, unbeknownst to himself, this guy, I think he's called a Protector or something. But it's pretty much, he's not pretty much, he is a clone of Superman. They got someone from the dimension, came to our dimension, got some DNA from Superman from a battle, went back, they cloned him. And Superman, it's Superman, but he has blonde hair. He's got a red outfit top to bottom, but it's an old, like double-breasted, like a World War II fighter pilot, and with a long scarf. Different look. Now, we never hear more about that Superman since. Every time they do all these crossovers, I think maybe he showed up one time in a back panel really quick, but it's called Superman Lost City. So Carlos worked on that with a lot of other stuff for different other companies. So his art style really always stood out to me, and I like his art style. Like I'm a fan of his style. So this is why I wanted to talk about Cybersix. And then the other person that worked on it is Carlos Trillo.
Yep.
So Carlos Trillo was the writer. Carlos Meglia was the artist. And those two came together, got together, and made Cybersix. Now, the book ran for a good while, and it had characters in it. So let's just say, for the essence of this story, it caught me. It was different, and I'll explain what I mean by different. So hold on, we're going to go back here a little half step here for half a second, right? So the series was produced by the Vancouver-based network of NOA, and animated in Japan by TMS Entertainment. The comic book had way darker themes. I mean, still adult theme, but they took a lot of that out and kept the true essence of what was in the comic book, but they translated it well for the cartoon, and the cartoon was aimed at a younger audience. The comic book did portray nudity. It did portray sexual, nudity, sexual situations. It did show drug use. So it was a lot more edgier.
Edgier. Yeah. It gave you that realism type of feel. I will definitely agree with you on that. When you see what the comics were, I believe I read a couple of issues. Like I think I might have come across it, like after time kind of scenario.
Right.
But I definitely had to watch the cartoon, and you can tell by watching the cartoon. We'll get into it, as you said, that it was quite edgy. It was, as Barry said earlier, ahead of its time in the sense of the presentation and what they were trying to portray was. It's one of those times when you think that in the Western culture, you see things might be a little bit more safeguarded and, kind of like drawn and like, we don't know, not say risque, but they're not going to give you a full blown or a very close to realism type of event.
No.
Cybersix, in this particular portrayal, they gave you can literally feel that, that particular action, that type of, scenario, although it's geared for kids, for children, you can see them like, I can see that. I can see that happening. I can see that panning out clearly as what happened. So again, it was definitely ahead of its time. And as I said, we'll get into that, but that was definitely to show the distinction of it was the sharpness of it.
Yes.
You can tell when you watch it and you get into it. It's not saying as a forewarning, but it's an understanding of what you're about to get into. This ain't no easy, like, come here, little Tommy. I got something for you to read.
No,
I don't know, Thomas. This is not for you, Thomas.
No. You can watch the show with your kids. You can't let them read the comic book till they're a certain age. I'll just say that, and that's not a knock. It's just more. Let's be aware, right?
It's aware of what they were portraying. They wanted to give you that realism type of cartoon, a comic book, that type of feel. That, I think they can handle it.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's fine. I mean, if you're a fan of Sin City, if you're a fan of, Frank Miller is more of his adult work, then you have no problem with Cybersix, the comic book. It won an award even in Italy. Like this is how it was there. So it got an award for a science fiction. So it's seen as an action crime, science fiction, and thriller behind it. So let's get down to it. So Cybersix is the main character. That's who she is. I'm surprised this show hasn't gotten more light to it. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just saying in the day and age where we are more open to pronouns and people, how they see themselves and how they identify themselves at, right? It's like being honest with who they are. Okay, cool. So the main character, that's Cybersix, right? And her name is, she goes by as Cybersix, that's her name. Case closed. So she came from a lab. She escaped. She's got Cybersix tattooed on her forearm. That's the only name she's known. When she escapes, she's running away and she's trying to figure things out. So she's in a fictitious place that's supposed to be like Argentina, but it's not an Argentinian city. But it has all the architecture from there. They really mapped it out very well. Where there's a statue, like there's a giant statue with wings in dead center of the city, so you could actually tell where she's at on the rooftops by the statues to the left, to her right, in front of her, behind her, and it's in a little peninsula, like a bay, so it's off the water. And this is I'll explain why it makes sense. So she gets away, she runs away, and she's trying to find out more about her past. She doesn't see herself as being a true human because she knows she's been engineered, she's been manufactured. So now she's got to hide out somewhere. So she's running away from these zombies. These kind of big, like Frankenstein creatures are always chasing her. You have the Dr. Hector, in English, his name is Hector, and he has a son named Jose. Jose's comic relief. Now, the thing is with Jose, he looks like a little kid, but when you read the book, Jose's drawn that way, but Jose's not a little kid. Jose has to be 18 minimum. It's just that he's a very short, scrawny guy. When you watch the cartoon, you think Jose is like 12. When you read the book, you realize, oh no, Jose ain't 12. Jose ain't 12. He's just a runt. He hasn't grown and he's short. So Cybersix turned out, she has to figure out a secret identity. So this is what comes in. This is why I'd say it was ahead of its time. She turned around as her secret identity. And in the comic book, she finds someone, this person is dead. She takes on their identity. In the TV show, if I remember right, she goes, sees someone that's missing or what, and takes that person's identity. And the person's name, his name is Adrian. So she goes back to Adrian's apartment. She sees his stuff around, and then she dresses as a man to cover her tracks, so people don't see her. So she's a female hero who dresses as a man as her secret identity, and then takes up his life and goes in because when she looked at the ID, that's the whole thing. When she looks at the ID, she goes, I look like Adrian. Hair, same color, same style. I look like this guy, Adrian. So I'm going to dress up as Adrian and carry on. And she becomes a teacher at the local, school. Like elementary school. All right. Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, don some glasses, pulling that Clark Kent Superman type of scenario. Yeah. And she's now Adrian. Exactly.
Baggier clothes. So, I mean, obviously she's a woman. She's got to have curves, but she puts on bulkier clothes and changes her hairstyle, puts on some big glasses, and her name is Adrian. Goes in there and starts teaching. She's smart. She's really smart. But she's also an engineered human. So let's put it in perspective. She's a super soldier.
Facts. 100%. 110.
She's got the strength. She's got the speed. She's got the agility. She's got a fighting style. She has all of that. Now, where it differs with the comic book and the cartoon, for example, is when she's fighting the monsters in the comic book. If she's fighting them, when she knocks them out, she turns around and drinks their blood like a vampire because she needs what's in their system to keep her alive.
Right.
In the comic book, it's like Super Mario. She'll fight them, and when she beats one of them, falls down, and that monster will turn to dust, like a gas, and just poof and disappear, and they leave behind a green vial that she drinks.
Interesting.
Right, because she needs that, whatever that chemical is, to keep her alive. It's all. That's why I said Super Mario. In Mario Brothers, you hit one of the monsters, it might turn into a cherry. You eat it. You're like, I got more strength. Let's go. And off. So this is how she functions, and there's where the differences are. So you couldn't have her being a vampire. So as Cybersix, she wears a skin tight black costume, V-neck with a high collar, has a black cape with red underneath it. So black on the outside, red on the interior, and then she wears like a black, almost like a fedora hat, with red underneath there, like a Carmen Sandiego.
I was about to say, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Right? Those two shop at the same store.
100%. They get it all FedEx in. I'm telling you, DHL in.
That would have been a sick crossover. Carmen Sandiego and Cybersix crossover.
That would have been.
Wow.
Put a pin on that one, maybe.
Okay. Done.
Put a pin on that one.
So with Cybersix, this is what's her whole adventure. So her whole adventure is stopping the monsters, trying to stop Jose, trying to stop his dad. Now, that's the other interesting thing about it is when you look at his dad, Hector, I believe it is. and I hope I don't have the name wrong. I've got so many names in my head.
Well, they have it as Dr. Von Reicher.
Oh, thank you. I kept saying
Dr.
Dr. Von. Yeah. So Dr. Von Reicher. Okay, so when she's trying to stop his dad, and of course they're evil. They're trying to do their schemes, take over the city, run the underground world. She's trying to get more of a sense of herself. If you look at the doctor's costume, you never fully see his face. Like his hair always covers his face, shadows it, but his costume, his I won't say costume, his outfit, how he dresses, has World War II Nazi vibes.
Well, yes, because basically when they were doing this, they basically were kind of like simulating that this happened just after World War II, or right during.
Yes. And what happened in World War II is a lot of them defected, right? A lot of troops went, a lot of the higher command went on the run. And where did they run to? Argentina.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys can, hit out there. That's where they're at, Argentina. So for him to be a doctor, it's implied he was part of that regime. Yep. He dresses very similar with their outfit, the Nazi outfit.
Yep.
Well, and
that's what. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it gets into that with Cybersix. It opens a lot.
There is. I mean, the one aspect of finding it online, you'll see that like Von Retcher is a survivor member of the Solzhenitsyn in World War II. So that's basically where the similarities is coming down, giving the image and giving the portrayal that he basically was working for the Nazis in that realm. He was working, off of that kind of similarity. That's what they're kind of basing off of. So he is basically the lead scientist who created Cybersix, and basically, as they say, a series of artificial humanoids basically have the super strength, and having all the super strength and agility. That's what he created. So this is why she will refer to him as father.
Yes. So that's where it gets a lot interesting. That's where the history to me should be really going forward. We always talk about these things, so we always want to say, well, it's world building. So the world, you already got the town built. You already got, it's kind of mixed in with real history to fictitious history, but it merges. It's nice. You're taking real world events and kind of floating them in there. I would love to see those come in a little bit harder. So the thing is with Adrian, as I was saying, we'll say Cybersix. So Cybersix, when she's working, she meets another person, and he's all taken up with her. Like he finds her intriguing and smart and mysterious, and wants to be with her. And she's always telling him no. And his name is Lucas, if I remember right.
Yes, Lucas.
Yeah, it's Lucas. So Lucas also works at the high school. So here's where it gets a little bit crazy. So Lucas knows Cybersix because she saved him. And then he sees her, and then he almost becomes like her sidekick to a certain degree. She's attracted to him, but she doesn't feel that she's human. There's something off about her. So she doesn't want to pursue a relationship and get him hurt or hurt him in any way. So she always holds herself back. And Lucas will sit there and say, oh, okay, this is fine. But he's heartbroken, but he still pursues her. You can't really understand why she doesn't give it a chance. And then he goes to his day job at the school, and he sits there and he talks to Adrian, his best friend, about how he's fallen for this woman, who's mysterious, Cybersix. So he's talking to Cybersix during the day about Cybersix at night, and not realizing that they're both the same person.
It is the early stages of Lois and Clark, when Lois didn't know that Clark was Superman. That's what I see that parody right there. It is so hilarious on that level. So hilarious.
But let's take it a step further, and they almost teased it a little bit, is the fact that Adrian, Cybersix, has feelings for Lucas. And when she's dressed as Adrian during the day, there's times where those feelings come out. Like a little touch, a tender touch here, a comment. Now Lucas is sitting there kind of,
Adrian, you all right, man? Adrian,
you good, bro? You good, bro? You good, bro? But not you think that would be his thing, right? But no, it almost seemed that he was thinking about where's this coming from, or why is this happening? Now, keep in mind, He doesn't know that Adrian is Cybersix. He says he thinks Adrian is a male, and he's entertaining almost having a relationship with Adrian.
Right.
They have great chemistry. They get along. They know each other so well. And to him, he's making a decision of, should I date him? Not knowing him is Cybersix.
Yep.
So it's a love triangle, but it almost pushes it to the fact of, and it's very rare. I don't judge nobody. Live your life and be happy. That's all I say. But I love the writing that it pushed it to the sense of, okay, well, we know he's into Cybersix, but it also seemed that he might be attracted to Adrian. Puts him in that bisexual range. That's fine. But it's almost like you're in a love triangle. So Cybersix was in a love triangle, with themselves.
Yeah, that's the best way of saying it. He's in a love triangle, not knowing that it's a love binaural versus triangle, if that makes sense.
Right.
A triangle line, single line, double line. There's too many lines going on here.
Too many lines. The last time I personally saw something like that happen was in Savage Dragon when they brought in Mighty Man. So the original Mighty Man was a man, and that was their take on Captain Marvel Shazam. But then this nurse ended up getting the powers, and when she got the powers, she changed into Mighty Man. But then her secret identity was a nurse. I can't remember what her name is, but it's in Savage Dragon. You can look it up really easy. We'll put a picture up somewhere, and so you can see it. And then she's, fell into a relationship. And when she was in her relationship, the nurse, everyone was like, wait a minute. Okay, why is Mighty Man talking to this girl? We thought this girl was, or she's talking to this guy. Sorry, I think she was dating a guy. So she's like, why is she talking to this guy or talking to Savage Dragon? And it's like, yeah, and Savage Dragon is like, look, I like you. We're dating. But I can't talk to you when you're as Mighty Man. You need to change back into a nurse so I can have the conversation with you when we're talking about feelings. And she's like, so oblivious to it. It's like, oh yeah, sorry, it could be uncomfortable for some people. All right. But here was done back in 1999. Here we're in 2023, 1999, and they're almost tackling that on a Fox show for, Fox Kids or Canada Teletoon. Good on them for being ahead. Good on Carlos and Carlos for being ahead and writing something that really sparks a lot of it. So we have Cybersix, we have Adrian, then we got to bring in Data 7. No, not Data from Star Trek. No, not Live Long and Prosper.
No lore? Okay, no lore. Got it. Okay.
Right. No lore on this one. We need Andrew back. So Data is a panther, and this panther is made by, the Doctor, and Jose has the panther, sends it off to kill Cybersix. They get into a fight, and yes, she's fighting a panther. Once again, I did say super soldier. She survives it, and then she realizes the panther has a scar over its head. And when she's able to get the panther not to be mind controlled anymore, and he's able to think on his own, you find out that the panther is her brother. The Doctor took the brain of her brother and surgically implanted it within the panther. The panther can't talk, but the panther found ways, her brother, Data 7, to express himself, to communicate, to be there. And this is why every time you look up Cybersix, you always see this Black Panther there, and you're like, where'd the panther come from? It's not like Dritz Duundren from, the Crystal Shard series from Forgotten Realms by Ari Salvatore, where he's just, a little statue, boop, he's there. I wish I'd like to have one of those. That panther is there constantly, but it's got human intelligence. That's her brother.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, we're dealing with monsters. So it's science fiction, it's thriller.
Definitely.
This is where everything goes. This is why I like this series. I think it needs to come back, right? And come back. And maybe not so much the comic book aspect of it, but there's a show. Yes.
Yeah.
As a show. So did you ever watch the show when it came on first, Rod?
Oh, I did. And I was definitely intrigued, and I really did love it. And it was one of those ones like, what do you mean you're not coming back? Why aren't you coming back? Because the feeling like, okay, so we'll start off from the top.
Yes.
You're understanding that this is a humanoid cyborg in that realm type of scenario, a super soldier, created. The Doctor created, as you see on the notes, he created like say 5,000 of them, and then basically they were the super soldiers. They die out, whatever case. Now we coming towards the end, and then basically Cybersix, and then I believe it was like Cyber 29, and that's her brother. So her brother died in that sense. So again, there's still humanoid cyborg type of scenario. So it's not a physical brother in the sense of human. It's her type of synthetic humanoid super soldier brother. He dies, turns into, gets mind transplant, literally brain transplanted into the Panther. I liked it because when you watch the visual of it, it gave me, Barry said one thing about very fluent and stuff like that. This is 1999. At this time, I am a full-grown person, a full-grown man. And I'm watching this, and I'm getting some good feelings of more fluent. Like, I'm going to say her name, people might be like, well, what are you talking about? Tintin. So when I watch Tintin, you have that nice fluent type of flow of the artistry and everything like that. Now, Tintin was still good for his art form and his delivery and the way he was drawn and portrayed on cartoon at that time. But the thing about that, it gave me Canadian, black Canadian boy having a vision of understanding the European type of life on the other side of the pond. So I love Tintin about that. Now switch over to Cybersix. When I'm seeing Cybersix, at the time, I was still thinking it's a UK European type of feel. Then I start to find out, oh, this is like South America. Oh, this is nice. And the the flow of the drawing, of the action and the way you will see her. We'll get into a little part of it as well, but you'll see she's a very super soldier, acrobatic, very flexible, agility. Like she was like running across like rooftops like Batman with like butter.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed kind of style.
Assassin's Creed parkour like a beast, like nothing. And it was like, oh, this is nice. And the way the drawing style, you seeing Lucas, when you see it, you see the imagery. Lucas was one of those, he was drawn to be a hulking type of guy. Big upper chest, and the drawing was slimmer concave to his waist kind of scenario. She, Adrian, was that slim type of person. But actually, retract that. She was very slim kind of scenario. Like Barry said, when she was in Adrian mode, at least the shirt was more puffier, so it gave that little extra body on her, upper chest kind of build. She knows she's thin underneath and everything along the line. But the fluency of how her drawn, how her actions, the fighting scenes, the running scenes, just the whole layout had a nice type of feel that I really did like. I really liked it. Finding out later on there was Argentina and stuff along that line. But it had that nice realism, as I said earlier. You can watch this and you will say, yeah, I can see that playing out. And it's not playing out with saying, oh, it's cartoon, it's anime, it played out. You can watch that and you can thinking, you can tell the writers put some thought into it. And then again, you learn later on, this is the drawn back version. This is not even the full 100%.
No.
We were getting like a 70, 75, an 80 type of touch of what we should have been getting. And that was good. So imagine, like nowadays, maybe we will get 100. Maybe we'll get a 90, 95. We'll get a 90, 95. We'll get very close to be like, ooh, yeah, I guess that's allowed. I guess that's allowed. It is good. It's allowed. It's allowed. It's okay. But definitely when at the end of 99, 2000, yeah, that would have been.
Yeah.
Someone would have been writing that up.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I would
citation.
So I will basically say that Cybersix was a good run, and because we were talking about this, it had me looking to see where you can find it. Now I'll just tell you, you can definitely be able to find some episodes. Not some, you should be able to find that it's only one season episode on YouTube. You can. It's dates you can find it on Amazon Prime. I didn't get a chance to go digging into Amazon Prime myself personally as yet.
Yeah.
But definitely, I know that we were talking about this, and in the back of my mind, I said, when times calm down, I'm going to have to start looking back and just watching that. Because there's certain shows now that I watch back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why did I why did I let you go out of my hands? You need to come back. This is honestly one of those shows you will enjoy if you like Barry said, you like Sin City, you like um you like that sci-fi action type flick movie, the dark type of visuals to give you that like this is the the underbelly of the criminal mind, how to run across uh stuff that happened in dark alleys for the good of a heroine, what she has to do. But this is not in the broad daylight type of fighting. This is stuff like basically when the night's out. Again, sometimes you have to think about it. You work all day, you fight crime all night. Are you not tired, my friend?
The green juice was Red Bull, man.
I'm telling you. And here's some realism that I liked about the show. You brought up the green juice. Because if I remember correctly, there's certain times when she didn't get it in time or very close, and it's like withdrawals. So you're getting realism, like she needs that thing to sustain her life. Like it's not a drug per se, but it's something that she needs to sustain her own life. So it's basically like saying, yeah, I need this. I feel weak. My body can't work without this particular piece of enzyme, this piece of medicine that's needed. If you look at it from that aspect, she needed that to live. And there's certain times, just like coming down to the wire, I was like, I'm about to drop. Oh, okay. I think I'll be all right. But it gives you the realism that like, this was like that type of cartoon that was like,
yeah,
like after hour. This is like current, like this would have been early stages of like Adult Swim. Certain things like you were like, are we past 12 o'clock yet? Okay, we can play that now? Okay. All right. It's valid.
Are the kids asleep?
Are the kids asleep? That's basically what it is. This is one of those cartoons or those anime that you would basically tell a friend that is a full grown person, like, so, yeah, you be watching that after 10 o'clock. Just, let me just give you that the deadline. Wink, wink. You'll understand why.
Set the VCR.
100%. But that's it.
Set the VCR. That's all I gotta say. So I was just checking something here, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
That's not what I thought. But yeah. So and going back to you mentioned Tintin. So if you read the comic book, I know I was going through the comic book, and I said I was looking at it, but I couldn't understand it, obviously, because I don't speak the language. But what I found really nice is that at one point they did a crossover for a couple of panels. They brought in a very Tintin looking character with Snowy, Tintin's dog. Like, no question who it was supposed to be, even the hairstyle, how he was dressed, the whole 9 yards. And that shows you the influence of one property over another, 100%. Where they bring him in. Okay. The main guy behind the studio, in Vancouver, Hervé Bidard, was a fan of this show. He was also a fan of Tintin, so I can see where certain things will come into it. Here's what I'm looking at this right now. We're going to get right into the casting soon enough in a minute or so. I just want one. I think this show should come back. Let's talk about the world building itself. I mean, we all know I talk about world building. I love it. This show can come back. This show, especially now in this day and age, it can come back and it can get those darker themes, like you're saying, on any streaming service properly. Because if you look at the cartoons on some of the streaming services, yeah, we're good. Yeah. Even outside of that. So if you really want to get true to it, you have to put it on a streaming service. That's me. I would still like to see it as a cartoon. I can see this also as a live action in one of the other properties. Here's how it's got to be for me. One, they got to get more into, especially in this day and age, right? Play more into the love triangle. Play more into Cybersix and Adrian and all those two aspects of it and what that's going to bring to Lucas. And feelings and relationships and how that's going to be portrayed. Like, let's not skate around the issue. Is he bi? Is he more attracted to Cybersix, or is he more attracted to Adrian because of certain aspects? Maybe one he finds more physically appealing, and the other one pull out his mind, which brings his feelings behind that. Then to find out they're both the same person. Okay, but still, I think that would be something cool to play with. 2, let's talk about World War II for half a second. Let's not skate on the issue. If they're supposed to be World War II war criminals on the run starting up in Argentina. Let's play that up into that South American history. Let's play it up into the town of Argentina. Let's get into the culture of the people. Let's get into how those war criminals turned around and got themselves into the culture, how they hid, how they still try to function and still try to do what they're trying to do for, the big boss. Let's just call him that, right?
Yep.
So I think that with that as a backdrop to add more to the story with the culture and using like real world events to kind of help, flesh this out even more. You really got the town. You really got the look of it. You got the look of everything. This makes it better. That's what I want to say. So, let's go into, okay, this could be the first person that would have pronouns as a name. How do you identify? Do you identify as he, she, they, them, and in a positive light? I'm just saying in a positive light, because clearly they did it. So if you're going to did it, commit to it. I know in 1999, we didn't want to get that on TV, but today in 2023, yes, we would. So that's how it is. Would I want to see the cartoon come back with the characters? You got to have Jose. That's the guy, and there's so many ways to go about that. Now, would you do it as live action? Now, as a cartoon, absolutely. And I've picked up my person, and I would have my person do either the voice for the cartoon and live action. I don't know if I'd go as far as a series,
right?
But it would be cool as a movie, right?
Okay.
And I say, so I can see it as a cartoon series, but I would say if you're going to reboot it, do it as a big budget movie. Let's get into it. I don't think you don't need to have 3-4 movies in this. It could be a nice movie, decent budget, one and done. And then if it really has a popularity on it, play out into, translate the original comic books into English. I think that'd be step one. Bring back the cartoon, have, the actress portray that character
right
going forward, connect it all together. And then we would need, as a collector, you need some kind of tie-in. So we need some kind of like resin statues of Cybersix and Data 7. We need maybe a couple of Fugio Pops. You need some kind of merchandising. So toy figures along those lines. I think this would open up without making any character different. It's not making like, oh, well, this character was straight, now he's not straight. No, it's this character, we don't know. And it's playing out into this. So let's go. That's my 2 cents there. I'll let you say your point there, Ron, and we'll get into our casting here.
Okay, no, definitely. I agree with you in that regard that this is in the world of, I can't even say in the world, in the time of people doing rebooting and bringing back, other, some properties that, that may have been made out of kind of that second look. This is definitely one of them. I will definitely back and say, yeah, this would be a good one. Now, like you said, they are bringing that back now should have a more accepting role. And like more people be able to, or are more catered to viewing this and seeing it from the perspective of saying, okay, let's see what the possibilities of having an individual who is, the gender is right there. You don't know, you're playing, not playing, but you're being both sides.
Right.
I'm just not saying to choose my words like that, but you're being both sides in that sense. And just basically showing the diversity and the mindset of coming from that particular point of view, how a person lives. What are their strong points? How do they think? How do they interact with people? We're clearly seeing that in the cartoon. They were showing in that way that she basically lives one way as a female, and then she lives another lifestyle as a male. How that dynamic actually works out. So that's definitely one thing. You were saying about it'll be more accepted. It made me flash and think, if anybody ever watched Sense8,
yes,
Sense8 was another, and that was Netflix.
Right.
Netflix brought that out, and that had like that first season was golden. There's different properties and everything about action, whatever it gives you, but they basically touched in a whole bunch of different dynamics, different diaspora of different types of viewpoints of human interaction, sexuality in that regard. So they did all that as well. Um, you said something. I thought in my head, and I was going to put it on the side. I said, no, I'm going to remember. Now I can't remember. I am so mad because it was leading into something. Hopefully it'll come back. Anywho, I was to say is that this, when you're really trying, people, please bear with me. The old brain was just like the smoke was just burning up in the back, like the coolant just poured out. Now I got coolant all over in the back of my head and just foaming and making steam come out of my head. Real life situation. But we'll get to that. Dang it, lost my train of thought. Tarnation. So but basically, really and truly, the having that as a live presentation, I'm with you. I will agree that I would like to have it in a setup, have a live movie one.
Yeah.
If you want to do it too, that's where I was going to go. You can basically do it as like a one and done.
Mm-hmm.
Do it in the same type of approach like Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass to me came out as one. Now they did great and they said,
yes.
You know what? Like there's money here. Let's make a second one. Great. But you didn't go in there thinking that you want a three movie deal with Kick-Ass. You went in with one. You got the results that you wanted. And at that point, you had the decision to branch off comics, whatever the case may be. At this point, we know our thoughts, at least, is to go branch off and do a cartoon. You want to, and research and bring back the books, make a new volume, go for 2023 version, 2024 version, go ahead. But at least I would say you do a live movie, put the budget in that. If you don't feel that you can do a big feature film type of scenario, fine. Put your money, give it to Netflix. Netflix, take it over. Give me a big Netflix deal, type that, and then pan off and you guys do the cartoon to it. It's a wrap. That's where my mind was thinking about Kick-Ass.
Gotcha.
Because at least Kick-Ass was great. It was like that, had that underground type of feel. That anti-hero type of vigilante type of feel.
Yeah,
and if you liked Kick-Ass because of that, the vigilante aspect of it, there's different nuances to Cybersix. Throw that on the table from that standpoint, you will get people who's interested. I will agree. Now go to the cartoon, because as I said earlier, all the action, the acrobat, the agility and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you'll be able to do a certain amount, of course, with live action, strings pulling and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Great. But if it's drawn, you have more freedom to draw her into the angelic type of angle, agility type of fluent moves that I was saying before. All that's fluent movements and stuff like that.
Like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Right. But driven, like drawn out cartoon wise, that's what pulled me in. The way she would do certain things, swip someone's feet, come up, and whatever the case may be. And you're thinking that technically that's humanly impossible. That's the point we're trying to get. You want to give that type of vision that you can do it live. We know you can do it as smooth as possible, whatever the case, human wise. But drawn wise, you can make it by saying there's no way no human would be able to do that unless
Super Soldier
serum or some cybernetic, bionic man, Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman, the bionic woman type of, add-ons kind of scenario, right? And shout out to the bionic man. I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can watch this. Oh, we'll get back to that. The box. 247. Look for the $6 million man. Just giving people hints. Excellent.
Cover the Bionic Man the way back. Cover the Bionic Man.
Oh yeah. No, but if you go on the box, if you have the box, you have the section that says 24/7.
Yes.
At least the one I have. You go through there. I just scroll by there just the other day. Indirectly, sorry everybody. Went scroll over by 24/7. Let me just start through the $6 million man. 24/7. $6 million man. But then it hit me. 24/7, $6 million man.
Yes.
24/7, $6 million man. My wife started out like, "You're not going anywhere, are you?"
Nope. Memory, they love like people do. They all remember you.
I tell you. Oh my goodness. So back onto Cybersix. So yes, that would be a great transition of basically if we did a movie, draw the crowd in, because not a lot of people may not may catch it doing it as a cartoon. A cartoon normally hits a certain demographic. Yeah. So unless you know of it first, you're going to look from it there. But if you did a live action movie, you're now going global. People are going to pick up on it. Like, what's that about? So when it's done, the movie's done, and then they happen to say it, oh yeah, by the way, there's going to be a cartoon. I was like, what?
Did you say what? Excuse me, what?
Baking powder? Oh, baking powder? What are you talking about?
Squeeze me, baking soda, what?
Baking soda? What's that? So yeah, then you can just start branching off from that particular angle. So yeah, that's how my thought process would be for Cybersix.
Mm-hmm.
Come from that approach. Yeah, it's a win-win situation.
All right.
Win-win.
So I got you. So right now, so we talked about it. So movie, got it. Cartoon series, got it. We know what we want to say. World building, got it. Who would you cast as your Cybersix? Now
I'm going to go. There's an individual that it's, you know what? I'm going to say I had a couple of people, and then I started to narrow it down and realizing I'm looking for someone who, has action, has agility, and who can just at least portray it. And again, it goes back to my mind. What I know Cybersix is supposed to be able to do without CGI and other type of assistance, you're not going to be able to get the full power.
Yes.
Right? So, this person is going to have to lean on the technical aspect to get there. Now, I was watching, and the reason why it's funny, I thought of this person, but I thought this person in one show. And I'm like, okay. Then I started looking again. I thought of another movie, and I'm like, yo, yeah, I think you were good in that movie. Then I went to see, went right back to the first person. I'm like, all right, I'm sold. So I'm going for Cara Delevingne. Hold on. Delevingne. Yeah. Cara Delevingne. I apologize if I sacrifice the name to the mighty word gods. So if you have watched on Amazon Carnival Row.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about.
So and there is. So for one, she's on Carnival Row. She is the main love interest of Orlando Bloom. So Virginia Stonemos.
Right.
But if you flip back where I was thinking secondly afterwards, if you've ever seen the movie Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, the second, basically there's the lead and the lead actor and the actress.
You mean Valerian?
Valerian, yeah, Valerian.
Oh
Valerian,
my gosh, yeah, okay, yeah.
So that's
she played Catherine. Yes,
right.
I think it was Catherine. Yeah, but I know
exactly. So Sergeant Laureline.
Laureline, sorry, I said Catherine. But yes, because I know. Yeah. Huge fan of that. Yeah, we got to talk. Yeah. Okay, yes, okay, go on.
We'll come back to that. So basically, I thought, okay, cool. She was very action oriented in there, and then I looked and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, you were the lead fairy. Okay, I'm back. We're good. And especially when we know that Cybersix is to have the vision of female of Cybersix, and then have the visual presentation of a male. If you look at Kara, I mean, especially at least on her IMDb post, you can see with the features, makeup or anything like that, just, to, shallow in the cheekbones and stuff like that, but you can change up her hair in a certain way. I can clearly see that, yeah, she could pull that off. She has the acting chops. The action aspect of it from Valerian. She does still some action, in Carnival Row. Now, it's not no crazy amount of action in Carnival Row, but she does fly around as a fairy, and doing some very unique type of stunts again with the gym harness and the harness and stuff along that line. So I'm gonna go with Carrie as my Cybersix. Oh, and also she's also with the Enchantress on Suicide Squad. Boom.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Touche. So, all right. I'm gonna tell you who I'm going with, and you can see why I'm laughing here for half a second because I had to look up. So I looked up who you were talking about, and then I saw the picture. I'm kicking myself. So strong bloodlines. There's times we are on sync. There's been a couple of times we picked the same person. This time we did not pick the same person, right?
Okay.
This time, you gone with Kara. Okay, cool. I'm going with another actress, and I think this actress, once again, I've seen her in other shows, seen her in other properties. One, she is great with kids. She portrays empathy. She's got a little bit of comedy, not a little bit. She's got like comedy timing. I'll say that, not a little bit. She's got comedy timing. Great with kids, and is in that world. She is graceful because she does music and she dances also. So she's very graceful on her feet. Choreography and fighting and fighting and dancing is very similar. It's all choreography. It's all movement. Yeah. She has that. I think she has that look. She can even get that background. So the actress that I'm choosing to be Cybersix, and you'll see why I laugh after a minute, is Selena Gomez. Right? Okay. So Selena Gomez was on Waverly Place. She's she's done a whole lot of stuff. She's done music. But the thing is, when I was typing in your person, the person you picked, there's a picture of Kara and Selena Gomez because they worked together. They were a couple in another show called Only Murderers in the Building.
Okay. Yeah.
And the two of them were sitting there side by side each other in the same picture.
Hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like a movie or whatever, but the two of them,
it's a series. It's a series. It's something.
Yeah, and there are a couple in that series, and the two of them are in that series. So there's a picture of it here. I'm showing it right now, and they're sitting there side by side. So I'm going with Selena Gomez because one, she's, when she did Waverly Place, comedy timing and all that, and I think she needs to have that comedy timing to bring up some of the darkness that would happen within the series. Being a dancer. She's very graceful. She has that look already that I can see her that if she puts on the traditional Cybersix outfit, she will be fire. When she dresses as Adrian, she can, and I'm not saying this a bad way. I can see her, blend in as a young looking man. Right. And, with the big clothes and, and makeup done a certain way, guaranteed. So Selena Gomez, I think, not even I feel that she could do Cybersix. And we haven't had the chance to really see her. I mean, okay, Only Murderers in the Building. Okay, she's done some dark stuff. I would love to see her in an action role. Like, she's done the comedy. She's done the, the rom-coms. She's doing some darker stuff. Okay, Selena Gomez, she's grown up. She's a woman. I would love to see her in an action role, and I think this is where she gets over. I'm not sure if that's something that she ever wanted to do, or it's just someone never approached her with something serious enough to say, "Hey, yeah." Now, being it's supposed to take place in South America, she's got a little bit of that. She's got that background in there. I'm not trying to blanket the whole thing. Yeah. She's got some of that. As I like to say, Latino heat.
Yes.
And I would definitely like to see her in that role because a lot of people won't think Selena Gomez. They're like, what? Seriously? I'm like, yeah, seriously. Selena Gomez, you give her a little bit of some, martial arts training where she might just approach as a dancer and just doing the moves. So just kind of recreate them. The gracefulness and the acting chops that Selena Gomez has. Oh yeah. At times she's slept on. People don't realize how talented this girl is.
Right. No.
I should say woman, they don't realize how talented she is. So because they don't see her role, I think two things. If she was, and I'll let you go, Rod. Two things. If she did this role, people's eyes would open even more to going, oh, it's like John Travolta. Everyone knows John Travolta from Look Who's Talking Now. Welcome Back, Carter. Right? Hey, Mr. Carter, it's Saturday Night Live. or Saturday Night Fever, sorry.
Yeah.
They all pictured him. When he came, and he was, he did Michael, he did some dark stuff. He's got the acting chops. And then when he came, he was gone for a while. And then when he came back in Pulp Fiction with Quentin Tarantino, everyone went, what? Oh, he can do that? He was always able to do that. They just never gave him the chance to do it. And when he got it, he excelled at it. And then if you look at his career path after doing Pulp Fiction, everyone's like, hey, you want to do this action movie? Was it something in Paris? And he's a secret agent kind of, and he's doing all these like kind of dark action movie roles. You're like, hold up, this is John Travolta down to blowing stuff up. Yes.
Face Off. Yeah.
Face Off. Thank you. Face Off. Selena Gomez just needs the project to get behind where people are like, she can do that? And it's like, she can always do that. It's just that everyone else put her in a box. Selena Gomez is my Cybersix.
Okay. Like, you know what? I can see it. And I will admit defaulting when you said her name, because I have to admit, I mean, I'm an older individual right now. I'm not saying I grew up with her, but she has been there for a good portion of my life in that sense. So you hear Selena, you're still thinking Wizard of Waverly. You're still thinking the Disney Channel, those early days kind of scenario. Right. So you don't see enough projects of her doing something else other than that. So, okay. You know what? You know what? You gave it a try. Let's see how it pans out. I will say, Kari already has the look to me. Like, she can have that dual personality type of look. I feel that she could definitely pull that off, with her action, her acting chops, but also having the ability of doing her actions and stuff already. But again, Selena is a nice choice as well, because this is a clean slate. Give her that. This is the cleanest slate for her. No one has seen her do anything along that line.
No. So, she's done comedy. She's done romantic comedy. She's done drama. She's done, the Disney stuff. Okay, fine. She's done music. Got it. She's done fashion. The one thing I personally haven't seen her done, and if she's done it, then I didn't see it. But I'm just saying, the one thing I haven't seen her done is a full-out action movie, which I know she can do. And the only reason she probably hasn't done one is because someone hasn't approached her and saying, but she's the Disney girl, right? No. This girl, give her the chops, give her the chops, give her the chance to put some chops in the movie. And I'm telling you, people, when you're going to look at it first, it's like Michael Keaton. When people heard Michael Keaton as Batman, and 100%. Now here we are. We can't get enough of Michael Keaton as Batman. Everyone's like, Michael Keaton, the original Batman, he was the best one. Okay, well.
Yeah. Prior to that,
he was Beetlejuice. He was Mr. Mom. He was okay. So you never
wasn't
know.
Even Beetle. Was he Beetle at that time? I don't think it was Beetle yet. I think he was Mr. Mom. I think he went from Mr. Mom.
Yeah, that's right.
To Batman.
Mr. Mom. Yeah.
Right. And because of Batman, then they said, okay, we'll throw you back in a little comedy with Beetlejuice.
I think I'm not sure which one came first, and don't quote us. Y'all can let us know.
Yeah.
But the point is, you never know.
Right? No,
because
completely.
He did Batman, and everyone's like, he's the best one. And at first, when he first cast him, everyone's like, oh, this movie's gonna suck. Hey, here we are now, how many years later, just looking to see a glimpse of him back in the Batman costume in the Flash movie. He goes and gets awards. Oh, one more thing, I'm Batman. And people lose it. So Selena Gomez, to me, is that person. Give her the property, and watch her shine. She would surprise people how she can do and keep it true to their source material. And not even like, I'm not talking like source material cartoon, I'm talking source material comic book of Cybersix, which is dark. So Selena Gomez, that's who I'm going with.
Okay, cool. All right, that sounds good. As a mental note, Beetlejuice did come out before Batman. So I'll go with Kari myself. Just for facts check, Beetlejuice came out before Batman. Thank you. The year before. Thank you. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think. If you have any of your choices and you thought like we went completely left and like, nah, we will think of someone else. Please feel free to put it in the comments below. But I'm gonna stand with Kari for me.
I'll stay with Selena Gomez.
He's a fighting word.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fighting
Ooh,
word.
and before we went up, one quick shout out. I almost forgot. Friend of mine, Brandy Ford. You've probably seen her on some of the Touch of Great comedy stuff that we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
She's out there. She's got her podcast going. She's got her radio show going, and she started a magazine. Was going to have some comedy in there also. So she goes by the Writer and the Wit. Currently on Instagram. Look her up, Brandy Ford. And she's gonna have her magazine starting pretty soon. So by the time this episode comes out, it's probably around the corner. So keep your ears out for it, and we're going to link it and shout it out in our episodes going forward once I have the name of the magazine. So didn't forget your Brandy. There you go.
There you go. Nice.
Woo. And on that note, we've come to the end of the podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. And always, you can join us on our Patreon, coffee, send us a one-time tip, or, help the channel grow. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for everyone out there. And keep downloading the episodes and sharing them. Don't let the show be a secret. This has been the iConis podcast. And I'm your host, one of them, Barry Carter, along with my cousin,
DJ Rod C.
DJ Rod C. And I always say, this whole world was started with a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming. We're out.
Cybersix. Cybersix.
I wonder if the cat changes its own litter or just uses a bathroom. That's a big panther to go into a bathroom. Anyways, right, on that note, we gone.
My brain is stuck. You just say